Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. What's going on? I'm Merrily James. This is Off the Charts. And we are 343 Labs, and we are oh my gosh. I was hearing my own voice at the same time there. We're 343 Labs. We have lessons in New York and Berlin and online and tons of super cool things. Classes in Ableton and production and mixing. And yeah, it's great to see everyone. We're going to talk about some vocal chops, vocal comping today, and the great thing about it is you don't have to be a vocalist. I actually think sometimes it sounds better when you're not a vocalist, when you do vocal comping, or not vocal comping, vocal chops. Yeah, let's see who we got here. Hey, Silent State. What up? Hey, Simple Sam. How's it going? Hey, let's see who else we got. Mystic Moth. What up? How are you? And Sophist. What's up? How is everyone's Monday going? Are we getting some coffee going? All right. Well, let's get going. Let's dive straight in. I have a Ableton session with a bit of a sound-alike of a tune I thought had some really fun vocal chops in it, by Empress of and Keto. Oh. For some reason, you guys are weirdly coming out of my speaker. 1 second. Okay, crisis averted. All right. Here we go, guys. So do we have any vocalists in the crowd today? Coffee already done. Nice. Hey, MV Beckham. Drinking coffee at the moment. It's decaf. Sufis, where are you? Are you in a place where, or like, is it nighttime for you? Let me know. Okay, cool. So let's check it out. Oh, there we go. All right. So, vocal chops. Super fun for like spicing up your instrumental mix, or if you're a vocalist like I am, just adding some like more live element with your performance and being able to trigger them. I really like just totally messing with them. I have a bunch of plugins that I think are really, really fun to use. So what I did is I just recorded this one quick take of some really random things over this piece. So let's check out, first we'll check out the section. We'll just leave the drums in for now. Okay, let's check out some of these vocals. And we'll take off every single effect. Okay, so super super bare bones, not even like particularly in pitch or in rhythm. This is one of the things I love about working with like all the things I'm about to show you, because you don't need to have some perfect like pristine vocalist or perfect take that you spend hours on. You can really work with just the human voice. I was teaching a class and showed some of this stuff, and someone came in the next week and played us this new version of their song, and I was asking like, I was seeing like the vocals sound so much more emotional than they did before. Like, you know, did you find a different sample, or like, where did you find this sample? And he was like, like I just took all the stuff you showed last week and I sung it myself, and like I've never sung before, and just recorded it like into my phone. So that's like a really cool part of this that makes me super excited. So, okay, the first thing that I would probably do, if you have Melodyne, I would recommend tuning. Like Melodyne and Auto-Tune are the first things I would do. You guys can let me know in the chat. Does anyone have you been using Melodyne, Auto-Tune? What's our vibe with those things? Let's see. Oh, Simple Sam. Yeah, we changed the background a little bit. Cool. All right. So let me show you, and then you guys can let me know if you have questions. So Melodyne. Let's drop it on here. And here's the funny thing about Melodyne is like you're essentially recording a new audio track. So you want to make sure you sort of have what you want before you do Melodyne, because anything you edit afterwards will not really show up. So I'm going to just take one tiny part of this clip. Let's use this. Okay, so I'm going to record it into Melodyne like this. So I'm just going to push transfer. Okay. So I've just basically made a new audio track out of this. And here's how to get started with this. So first of all, you can see all these squiggles are showing like there was a lot of vibrato. This is going out of tune quite a bit. If I click on this and then I go up here, I can see I was 12 cents sharp on this C. I was 30 cents sharp on this C. I was pretty sharp on everything. Whoa, got really sharp there. So there's many different ways to use Melodyne depending on what you're trying to achieve, as an emotion in your song. So sometimes if you're working like with a really great singer who like bends into notes a lot, this kind of stuff, you don't want to like perfectly tune it, because then you lose all the cool emotion. But for something like this, when it's like, it's really meant to be more of like an instrument part, I want it to be pretty in tune. So I'm going to select it all and just double click, and that puts it in tune. Again, I wouldn't do that always, but for this, particular, scenario, this is what I want to do. And then you can go in and sort of like smooth out things. change velocities. I'm going to leave it like this for now. Let's take a listen in context. Okay, cool. So now for all the fun stuff. Auto-tune is also a tuner. What's different about auto-tune and Melodyne is that Melodyne is a little bit more to like fine tune, really make something sound perfect. It has a lot more detail to it. Auto-tune also can be used as just like a natural tuner, but it can also be used as like an effect. Like Kanye West has basically made auto-tune into an instrument. So let's pull up auto-tune. And this is on Tara's auto-tune. So here's my retune speed. It's at 100%. If I pull it back. I kind of like it to be pretty hard tuned for this because I don't care if this sounds really affected. I actually really want it to sound affected. The humanize function will make it sound more human. And there's also lots of fun effects and like presets you can use on this. But let's stick with this for now. And then we're going to go to my favorite thing in the world, I think actually Decapitator is my favorite plugin ever, but Little Altar Boy is up there because it's so fun to use. We had a giveaway of Altar Boy a couple weeks ago, and I was using it on my voice. Yeah, Simple Sam, just looking at the chat. Yeah, you record it in and then move the notes. Cool. Don't forget about Share. Yes, totally. Thank you, Simple Sam. Yes, Share is the original vocoder pioneer. We all love Share. That was one of my first CDs I ever got. Do you believe in life after love? So amazing. Okay, cool. So let's check out Little Altar Boy. I love to do the pitch shift on not literal altar boy, Little Altar Boy. So here is the pitch knob. It's super easy to use. So that's what that does. And I'm actually going to turn Melodyne off for a second while I show you on the group. And then let's try playing with the Foreman. So I'm going to put it back at the default. That was on a double. I'm going to try now just messing. So the Foreman is going to change how it kind of sounds in this octave. And I'm a huge fan of turning up that old drive a little bit. Okay, then we can put some, just compress it a little bit. Let's take a look at the Ableton compressor. Because I think sometimes we can explain compressors in really hand wavy ways and this this just like pull this down and it's compressed. But I think it is important to really understand what we're doing when we're compressing, and think about how we might compress things differently based on what we're trying to do. So in the Ableton compressor, I like to use the view that I'm in right now, and the yellow line, my threshold, or excuse me, the blue line is the first thing I'm looking at. And this is just showing me what and how much I'm compressing. So if it's not on any of these peaks, it's not compressing anything. So this is not compressing anything. But if I pull it down, it's starting to compress. And we can see this yellow line is showing us the dips. So it's saying like it hit me. It's like this little guy who's doing volume for you in your DAW. And this yellow line is saying, okay, you went up this far. I'm gonna come and turn the volume knob down. Okay, then the ratio, it's saying there's 2 dBs coming in and there's 1 coming out. So for our purposes, I might actually want to hit it a little bit harder, because again, this is not supposed to be like a really, really natural sounding thing. I want it to sound electronic and messed with and sort of robotic. So if I increase that, it's going to say, okay, you're giving me more, you're giving me this amount of dBs. I'm going to compress it like 6 dBs instead of 2. So, isn't the vocal late because of plugin latency? Do you believe? Is it sounding weird, guys? Do you believe? We'll try easing up on some of the plugins in a sec. But yeah, Mystic Moth, yeah, Melodin 5 Essential is good. You do, if you want to start really getting into like the nitty gritty of moving things, quantizing things. Oh, bye, Holgi. Love to your daughter. You do need to have a higher version, but you can get a lot from the Essentials version. And for, if you're doing pop music, okay, thanks, Powell. Great. You meant the recorded one. Yeah, we'll see what happens when I come back on. Hey, Mod Scientist. Hey, you're cool catting us. Mod Scientist on Twitch. What up? Good to have you here. We got some cool cats. We got some fire. We got a peace sign. I love it. But anything you hear now on like the top 40 charts, it's so heavily tuned. It's really become a part of making a vocal competitive. If something isn't tuned, you might not even realize why. Like even if it's a good singer, you might say like, oh, this is a really good vocal take. But if it's not like really, really perfectly tuned, it's not going to stand up against the stuff that's out there right now, unless you're going like for a very certain style or vibe that doesn't have that. So I highly recommend if you're singing yourself or you're recording someone else, that you're always tuning the vocals, because we like listen to vocals. That's the thing that we listen to most. Okay, so back to the compressor. I went on a tangent there. So if I bring this up all the way, it's going to say, okay, you're giving me 9 dBs, or excuse me, for every 9 dBs in, we're compressing 9 dBs. So super compressed. For every 1 dB and 9 dBs compressed. So I might ease up a little bit. The attack is how fast the attack is hitting the compressor. And the release is how long it takes the compressor to ease up. So you can see this yellow line is showing you the release. So do you see how it never actually gets back up to the top? That is like not great for what I'm trying to do. That's a really long release. It never fully resets. So I'm gonna dial it back. Okay, cool. Now let's put some reverb on it. And I'm gonna actually save Filter Freak for when we map this to a drum rack. So let's just compare to where we started. And let's put Melodyne back on. So let me turn all these off. Okay, that's where we started. And here's where we are. Okay, so what I think makes vocal chops really special is to not treat them all the exact same way. So what I would do now is go in to my next piece, and let's grab something that sounds quite different, and we're gonna treat this totally differently. Okay, so let's take this and I'll leave it on its own track. Okay, so let's hit it with some Melodyne because that thing was not in tune. Let's try to, I know I'm going to use auto-tune. I'm going to do the Believe in Love. Let's see, here we go. It's coming. I'm going to have to, actually, I'm going to have to put it on my voiceover. Hello, do you believe in life after love? Oh, it's so weird. There's this weird latency happening. Do you believe in life after love? This one, actually, for live vocals, I don't really like because it has too much lag. I like to use the Waves tuner for live. The Waves tune real time. It's not quite as advanced, but it has a lot less latency. Everything is running slow today, you guys. Yeah, so this is what I like to use live. Do you believe in life after love? It's not quite as cool though. It's not really a vocoder, but it works really well for tuning your vocals live. Okay, back to this. Okay, so hit it with some Melodyne. And then we're gonna do something really fun to it with the vocal bender. I'm so obsessed with good vocal plugins. The vocal synth is great, but I've been really into the vocal bender lately because you can play it, you can use it live. It's no latency and it's super fun. Okay. I lost Melodyne. Oh, here it is. So we always want to put Melodyne at the beginning of the track because you want to have everything follow your tuned vocal. You don't want to like hit the tuned vocal with or like be sending a reverbed untuned vocal into the tuner. All right, so I'm going to put my cursor here. I am going to bet that first note, oh, let me take this off. I'm going to bet that first note was not even on the right pitch. La, the 6 of the key. All right, it's going. It's detecting monophonically because it is not in harmony. It is one. I have a green can of water, but it kind of looks invisible because of my green screen. I always have to remember that. Wow. Come on, Melodyne, let's go. You guys can see up here, the computer is not liking the amount of plugins. So we might delete some in a minute and like print some tracks. Usually what I do is get everything sounding how I want and then print it all to audio because this stuff is super CPU heavy. Enigmatic Onion, what up? How are you? Hyperpop does a lot of processing like auto-tune and overdrive. I love it. Yes, it's so cool. Hyperpop is amazing and it's so fun. Like, why not have fun while we're going through our lives making music? Who else we got? Hey, John, you're in Rockaway Park. Nice. Good to have you here. How are ya? Okay, let me see if that, oh my gosh, it's still going, you guys. Well, while that's happening, let me show you how we would freeze this other track. Or not, well, we could freeze it, but let's actually print it to audio. So many of you may already know how to do this, but just in case you don't. So I'm going to call this vocal 1 audio. And I'm going to take, I'm going to print this. I'm going to take this out of the group. I'm going to print this so that then I can delete it and delete all those plugins. So I'm going to print it with the plugins on. Okay, we'll make it a different color. All right, so all I need to do is I could either send this to vocal audio 1 or take vocal transition in from audio 1. So I'm going to do it this way. Instead of sending it to the group, I'm going to send it to vocal audio 1. I'm going to arm my track. Oh, that did not work because this was not on. Have your track on first. Let's do it again. Oh, great. Okay, cool. So let's just make sure that sounds good. Oh, lève-vous. We're back. I'm gonna actually, I forgot I put all my all of my effects on the group, so that was a good learning moment. So what I want to do actually is send this whole group to Vocal 1 Audio. Then I can get all my effects. let's check it out. Oh, oh, levez-vous. Let's keep going with the vocal bender. Finally, it worked. So I'm gonna, again, double click and get them all in tune. And then let me show you guys, oops. Well, everything's, it's like the mouse is doing its own thing. All right, so let me show you guys this plugin. So I hit it with some Phase Mistress. Which makes it just sound like phasey and weird and cool. But then let me show you some of the cool things Vocal Bender can do. So it can also affect the pitch, but I like going into some of the presets that will actually start making a melody out of it. So you could just record like literally one, you know, an ah, and this would make it sound really, really weird and cool. That one's kind of good for this scenario because I am moving already a lot with the pitch. But that's a really nice one to check out. Let's just put a little reverb on. Okay. So then you might go through and do this to a bunch more, but let's work with these two for now. And I'm going to drag them into a drum rack, and we're going to look at how we can do this live, and play these vocal chops live. You could also just use them as a production tool. So let's get into that. But how are we doing? I'm back in the studio. We're midway through. How's everyone feeling? Do we have questions? Enigmatic Onion, I do not know if it's French or random. I think we had a little voulez-vous, which I guess is French, but it's pretty much just random gibberish. Yeah, vocal chops don't need to say anything. Mark Morgan, what is up? How's it going? So good to see everyone. Melodyne does not like Mondays, Powell. Good old Melodyne. Who else uses Melodyne? Should we do a whole Melodyne Monday? That might be kind of fun, like the ins and outs of using Melodyne. Let me know if that would be something you guys would be interested in, because I love Melodyne. Okay, cool. So let's go back here and take a look at putting this into a drum rack. So you could do it on push. You could do it on something like just any old MIDI controller works. So my vocal chop rack has a bunch of fun live effects on it, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Let's just drop these two things in. Oh. I'm going to actually, let's make life easier and bring it up here. Chops rack, chops rack. It's coming. It's coming. Maybe Ableton doesn't like Mondays either. Okay, here we go. And then let's bring in our other one. Ooh, ooh, levez-vous. And, oh, hang on. Let's fix the problem. Hang on. Ooh. Ooh, levez-vous. Yeah, I think it's kind of French. I'm going to say it's French. Ooh, levez-vous. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Okay, so I'm going to drop this into my chop rack. Okay, so now I've got a Ableton push over here. I could also do it on any MIDI controller. You don't have to have a push. I'm going to just like tighten these up a little bit so that when I hit it, it starts at the beginning. Voulez-vous. Okay, sweet. And I'm actually going to just drag my altar boy directly on here to free up a little more CPU. Delete some things. Voulez-vous. Okay, sweet. So let's go to another part of the song. Let's get a part actually with a little bit of bass. Oh no, my sample's offline. Guys, always have to do a collect all and save. Gotta do it. All right, we'll figure out where that is. All right, but let me show you. So I'm gonna just start triggering them, but then I'm gonna show you how we can put like beat repeat and some really cool stuff on to mess with it live. Okay, so on and so forth. But now let me show you the more cool part. I'm literally obsessed with beat repeat. Here's it in action. Actually, let's use this one. So what I can do with it is I can start, I'm gonna actually, let me show it to you. I'm gonna, so I can show it on the DAW instead of on my push. Beat repeat. Who else uses beat repeat for other things? Oh, it's not in my go-to. Okay, here we go. So what you can do is you can MIDI map it to turn it on and off. So you could also automate it. So if you weren't playing this live, you could just turn it on right here. Oh. And it's really fun to do that live. I also like to use like a filter live. Looks really cool if you're doing that on your MIDI device. So let's drop an auto filter on. And check it out. One more time. Another thing that you can totally just automate. So I'm going to automate the frequency of it. Maybe start, you don't want to start so low that you can't hear it. But this is what that would sound like. So it's super fun. You can get deep in with it, with the vocal chops. I want to show you guys a little bit before we stop about also vocal comping. And I'm going to open up something new, but let's see how we're doing in the chat. How is everyone getting on? Enigmatic Onion, you use it religiously. Nice. Tetro is the best on building a beat repeat rack. Love it. So fun. Hey, Drummy Geo, thanks so much for being here. MV Beckham, your stream life is conflicting. I know it's like the way of especially in the pandemic, we're all just like on this Twitch and this Twitch. Well, we definitely appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, it's super good to see everyone, and thanks for spending some time on an afternoon here. We have a giveaway today. It's not a plugin, or else I would try to demo it for you, but it is a 343 masterclass, which is super cool. So get in on the giveaway. Yeah, and if this is stuff you're into, we have classes. Sorry, guys, I lost you for a second while I switched sessions. Okay, so let's check out a new session just with one lead vocal, and I'll show you how I comped it together and some things that I like to think about when comping a vocal. I'm so happy that Ableton came into the new world with take lanes. Hopefully everyone's been eating up the take lanes in Ableton 11. It's like I used to always do like vocals in Pro Tools, but now that we have this, I'm finding that I'm pretty much using Ableton for everything. So I'll play you this vocal. I am playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. If you're trying to... Okay, so that's the Bruno Mars song. So if I do a right click, I can show my take lanes. So this was just a couple of takes that I used for this. And I like to, before I start comping, I like to color code them because I find it is so much more helpful when I look up here to see which take came from where. So I usually go in, right click, choose a color for my clips that's different from the one right below it. And then I also love how you can take notes here. And I try to take notes as I go. And my kind of philosophy is to find one really good take and then just correct it from there instead of like Frankensteining a take altogether. So, word that I say is coming straight from the heart. If I wanted to use a take, you just click it and press enter. Super simple. Hard. So let's say that I liked that one better. I would just want to go in and make sure I had done some crossfades, which you can do with these little handles. Just pulling it over. And you don't need a huge crossfade on, it's just enough, and there we go. Hard if you're trying to... And what I really look for when I'm trying to decide on vocal takes is something that has emotion and vibe. So even if it's like a little bit out of tune or it wasn't quite timed right, I'd so much rather go in and tune it or move it a little bit and have like that vibe and emotion than, having a really flat vocal. Yes, M Havoc. I gotta stand up for my Ableton though. Ableton's always my favorite, but yeah, I know. I do wish that they definitely took their time releasing this feature. So let's go back, and I want to show you another thing I did, which I think a lot of people might not know about with vocals specifically, is amplitude editing. So I want to go in and not necessarily do amplitude editing on every single word, but if there are words that are like significantly quieter than other words or louder, it's going to make the performance sound less polished and less sure. So let's play this.
I am playing no games, every word that
So
every word that
that is kind of unsure. I'm going to highlight it, Command E, double click. And I'm just going to bring the gain up a little bit. And it's not going to be noticeable other than it will sound more sure of itself.
Games, every word that
and even the vri is just kind of, it sounds like an afterthought rather than something I actually wanted to say.
Every word that.
So let's now crossfade, always crossfade, no hisses or pops anywhere. Amplitude editing is also a really cool thing you can do with a double to get rid of sibilants. So it's kind of a more detailed way to do a de-esser. So if you have a double with lots of S's, every double does, because lots of words have S's and F's and Z's and T's, you can go in and turn all of those down on the double. And because you don't need those doubled, you don't need those sounds doubled, and that will make a really nice performance. So I would go through and do this on every word. If there's stuff that's popping out, I would also take that into account.
Straight from the heart.
So heart is maybe needs to come down just a little bit. And that's amplitude editing. So that's a really good thing to know about. So I start with rhythmic timing, moving anything around that needs to be moved around. That's having things on the beat is super important, especially in a lot of electronic music. Then I do amplitude editing. Then only when that's all good do I hit it with Melodyne, because I want to make sure everything is timed and amplitude edited, and then I put it in Melodyne. Then I hit it with my effects. So here's my EQ8. I went around and searched for some shrill frequencies.
Hard, if you hard.
And dipped it out a bit. I also put a bit of saturator on. And that just is, really nice for vocals, just a little bit, and gave it some reverb. Another thing I did that I love for pop vocals is a parallel EQ. So, and it's super simple to do, and it's something you hear being used in so much music now to get that like sizzle on the vocals that really cuts through. What you do is create a return track, and then put an EQ and take the high pass filter up really, really high. And then send your vocal to it, and let's so it's super subtle, and it's just this nice, like, sizzly kind of vibe that cuts through, and together with my normal vocal, it makes a big difference.
Word that I say is coming straight from the heart.
You can hear there's a crossfade that needs to be fixed there. Really, we can just pull this all the way over.
Hard if you're trying to.
Okay, cool. So that's super quick rundown on how to edit some vocals with take lanes. We finally got them. Yay. And then after that, you can go in and do some vocal chopping. Yeah, Enigmatic Onion. Totally, yeah. I can totally see why you might have discovered it by yourself. And it's Amplitude Editing, you should really do it for everything, like especially bass. If someone plays a live bass, it's really important. It's like we're sewing Persian rugs. We are just like going into each note. And MV Becken, you used to attend Full Sail University. And you're wondering about 343 Labs in order to get a broader perspective on learning. I think that you would really like it. I love the teachers at 343, and I think they're really, really fun and like out doing music. A pop filter would actually, that would eliminate like more pops. Like that's why it's called a pop filter. But it wouldn't do quite the same thing as the return track. So it could be something cool to check out. And Enigmatic Onion, yes, totally saves CPU. So if you want to just like something like EQ, you want to place on each track when you're sculpting the sound, but then something like a parallel EQ that's being used more as an effect can be placed on a return track, no problem. I put reverb on return tracks. I usually do a short and long reverb on 2 return tracks to be able to have some room to play around with them. I also like to put decapitator. You guys know I'm obsessed with decapitator on a return track. But then things like compressor and individual EQ, I put those on each track individually. But yeah, as you can see, my computer was struggling a little bit today, so I think that I need some more return tracks in my life. Yeah, well, guys, thanks so much. So yeah, we talked about making vocal chops using decapitator, little altar boy, delay, phase mistress. What else do we use? The waves, vocal bender, Antares auto tune. I already am like starting to make in my plugin list for Black Friday. Highly recommend. Start making it now. There's so many good plugin sales on Black Friday. It's coming up. And then vocal comping with take lanes, really taking the time to go in and do amplitude editing on each word, doing some crossfades, and in making some great vocals. So I am getting married on Friday, so I'm not going to see you guys on Monday, but then I'll be back every week. So definitely let me know what you're really wanting to learn. Hit me up on Instagram or hit 343 Labs. Silent State. It's great. The online courses are great. Yeah, I've taught some of them. They're really, really fun. It's cool to get to be with people from all over too. Some like really, really cool music has happened. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And, thanks, Silent State. Thank you. Thanks, Enigmatic Onion. Make your list. Check it twice. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for being here. It means a ton. And, check out, Tatro Talks tomorrow. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks, MB Beckham. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you guys so much. Bye, everyone.